All right, hi everyone. Today I wanted to take a look at this Shahnameh manuscript to use as ideas for people painting an army of Islamic miniatures, Ottomans or Safavids or Mughals even from the 16th century. Pretty sure this manuscript is from Iran though, and it was created in 1544. Now the text is Ferdowsi's Shahnameh, the Book of Kings, and uh, the stories within the Shahnameh are even older than Ferdowsi himself, which is in the Middle Ages. But here I wanted to go through this for, if you're making an Islamic army in the 16th century to give you an idea of colors and stuff like that. Obviously, the illuminator of this text illustrated the figures to look like how they would have appeared in his own time. So uh, this is a hawk enthroned. Pretty sure he's one of the antagonists. But here we have a lot of different colors. Got this guy with some kind of club or baton. It's red. You see their cloaks or their kaftans are pretty well decorated. And they have blue and gold and yellows. So a lot of different, basically a lot of primary colors, a lot of like jewel colors, things of that sort. So that's how I tend to paint my miniatures for my Islamic armies. Here we have some actual military characters. So uh, we have this horse here with some interesting barding. Now, obviously, the ink on this paint has faded a bit with time, but looks like the barding is kind of like bronzed or copper plated, maybe. And we have the armor of these guys. The vambraces are like kind of bronze colored, copper colored. And then we have some of it that's probably supposed to be depicting like iron, steel armor. And the accoutrements of the bows, the arrows, bow and arrows, excuse me, are pretty nicely decorated on these guys. Not sure what's going on there. Got this guy with snakes in his ears. Interesting. I'm sure if I read the story, I would understand what was happening. And here we have this guy who's got like some leg armor. Uh, it's like kind of bronze and steel. And then same as the other guys. It's got like steel and then with kind of like bronze colored uh, parts of the helmet. Here we have some lighter, basically unarmored characters. They've got like a cap like this. Got their swords, but they don't seem to be wearing any kind of armor. But we can see the same kind of patterns of a mix of more or less primary colors and a lot of patterning on their kaftans. Here's another scene uh, where we've got some interesting colors. We've got, the saddles are brightly colored. I think that's something I'm probably going to have to start doing on my miniatures. And this guy's shield is nicely painted and decorated. We've got a couple different styles of helmet. Like this guy, the kind of it's like this skirt that hangs down over the back of his shoulders. These guys kind of have a mix of armor, got more probably like steel vambraces, and then these have a kind of like the brass coloration. So this is obviously like a domestic scene, but again, you can get another idea for different colors. Here we've got some women being depicted, but the same kind of idea. Here's another like military scene, uh, but interestingly, the horses don't really have a lot of barding or armor, so that's rather interesting. But they do have, nice like patterns on the barding that they do have, or the saddle blankets and stuff. And here we have, a guy that's got like kind of plainer looking clothes. He's just got like this sort of gray, blue kind of kaftan, green pants, and um, like a yellow orange shirt. Then we have Godoy here, uh, and he's got armor, obviously, but his quiver is also nicely decorated, so that's interesting. And we've got some guys down here, more fully armored. I've got the cowl thing. Here's some more interesting kind of horse armor. So we've got blue and yellow, and this is clearly, or I think this is supposed to be metal, but it's been painted blue, or that's what the illustration seems to be suggesting. And then the armor on this horse is also likewise painted orange, and it's got like this kind of square interlinked squares with some brass bits on it. And then up here we can see these guys are armored, but their horses are not. I like this guy, the white with the gold patterning. He's got the standard, but I think if you go through this, you can see there is kind of suggestions of different kind of levels of ornamentation on the characters. Um, Isfandiar here has, like this well decorated kaftan and nicely decorated bow holster case, I guess. um, but then, like the guy playing the trumpet, seems to be a little less fancily dressed. Oh, although he's got a pretty patterned kaftan, so maybe not. But and you can see different styles of helmet depicted, which is interesting. let's see, maybe look at a few more. This is just kind of cool. These are supposed to be wolves. They kind of look like rhinoceroses, but at any rate. And here, Sfandiar, his horse is unarmored. He's wearing orange, blue and gold bow case. It's kind of interesting. Here's another example of kind of different horse armor. So we've got, I'm not sure who's Rostam and who's Isfandiar here, but we've got the figure on the left with like a fully armored horse, and I guess they're trying to wrestle from horseback. But then we've got the other character on the right who does not have an armored horse. Also, his bow case is less ornamented, which is interesting. But like this guy over here is like a nicely ornamented bow case. It's got like more armor on. So we've got these guys down here. Again, we've got another kind of armored horse, fully armored, and then we've got a guy with an unarmored horse. But they seem to be wearing similar amount of armor. I mean, this guy doesn't seem to have any kind of mail on underneath his kaftan, but it's it's hard to tell what what it's supposed to be depicting sometimes. If he would have had, if a guy like this in real life would have had mail underneath, but his neckline is open, so maybe not. I don't know. This guy over here as well, watching. Let's go back to see. Look at this one. Oh, this is interesting. So he's fighting a kind of legendary bird. I guess the horse is pulling some kind of cart. But anyway, there's his Fandiar. And here we can see that he's supposed to be wearing mail, like under, or some kind of like chest armor, probably mail, I would assume, under his coat, or his kaftan. And then I guess the blue is his like main garment. And then I guess these are more like leggings instead of pants, based on, because we got his little bit of his leg is exposed. So that's interesting. Yeah, I think that's all I'll cover for today. This is an interesting manuscript, but I thought walking through a little bit of this would, give people ideas about how to paint. If you have an Ottoman army or Safavids or Mughals or something, perhaps even an earlier period, this would be kind of helpful. Um, and these Shahnameh manuscripts are pretty helpful for just getting an idea of the colors from a particular period or the style of dress for these Islamic armies, because kind of like the way medieval European texts about, maybe stories of the Bible or classical history would, use like medieval, like in the Middle Ages, medieval European figures to illustrate the story. It's kind of the same idea here with the Shahnameh. They're using 16th century depictions of people to illustrate these kind of like legendary Sasanian era stories. So, okay, well, thanks for watching this. I will post the link to this text in the description, so if you want to take a look at it, and recommend, if you do have an Islamic miniature army project, they do have some other illustrated manuscripts on here that might be helpful. There's a copy of the Jami al-Tabarikh. This is the history of Mongol Iran from the Middle Ages. That there's a 14th century copy that has some illustrations on it. So and some other things as well. So a lot of resources here on the Princeton digital collection. And thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next video.